You are listening to the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, my favorite podcast to listen to on long flights across the galaxy.
This is the way.
We're wanted men.
Welcome to episode 169 of the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the galaxy. It's Saturday after Thanksgiving. We're both stuffed turkeys. I'm Glenn. Jason is on the other line. Jason, how are you doing this morning? How much turkey and ham do you have left over?
We didn't make a ham, but I made like 40 pounds of turkey over the past couple days. So
Jeez.
We've got tons of turkey, which is always, that's my favorite. So I'm happy.
Turkey sausage, turkey dressing,
turkey stew, turkey gumbo.
Yeah, we did it. We did a turkey and a ham, and we did way too much. We had 8 people and probably hadn't enough food for like 20. But yeah,
leftovers.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna have to freeze the ham and see what's going on because it's way too much ham. And I'm not eating that much ham before it goes bad because it's like it's like breakfast, lunch, dinner, ham or turkey for like the next week, and I don't know if it's supposed to last that long. Yeah, I don't know. And we got pecan pie or pecan pie. I say pecan. Do you say pecan or pecan? You're not from the South, so
no, I would say pecan.
Oh,
pecan.
It's pecan.
I don't eat it, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, you don't eat pecans?
You say apple pie or apple pie?
Yeah, it's apple.
All right. So I'm just I would eat an apple pie. I don't really do much for desserts.
Yeah, well, you're an apple guy, though.
Yeah. I can go through all the different kinds of apples, Macintosh, golden apples, Fiji apples, Red Delicious apples, Granny Smith apples, Snapdragon.
Yeah, Red Delicious apples are kind of like the Bud Light of apples, though.
They're delicious, though.
Yeah, but they're like common apples.
So, anyways, it's enough.
Dude, so everything else went good for your Thanksgiving?
Yeah. No complaints.
No complaints. My only complaint is we had my in-laws' dogs for a couple of days because they weren't getting along with the dog where they were staying, and my house is all sandy because they go in the backyard and then run and then come inside, and it's like everywhere I stepped in sand. So
Sand gets everywhere.
It really does.
I was bringing it back to Star Wars.
Yes,
I hate sand.
I hate sand, so I got a vacuum.
Of course, it gets everywhere.
Yeah, damn sand.
Pick anything up?
What did I pick up? I actually my TVC chopper came in, and it was kind of weird because I had it scheduled. It was scheduled. I got it from Amazon, so it came. It was scheduled for one day, and then I got a notification saying, "Oh, you've got to go in and fix this for the thing," and it had been delayed. And then the next day, I got a notification that it was going to be here, like 2 days later. So it was sounding like it was going to be months before I got another one, and it came in 2 days later.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I picked up a Celebration 5 Wampa, like stuffed Wampa animal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's about it. Other than just like random bits of Black Friday shopping.
Yeah.
Nothing too, huh?
No, go ahead.
No, nothing too crazy. But it's like all, you go there and you're like, the whole week before Black Friday, now you can do it all online and you're just watching and it's like, I've got money to burn, even though you really don't have money to burn, but can I really afford not to spend this money on stuff? And yes, you can. It'll be fine. You don't really need it.
The Lola droid from Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
The higher end one that was $85 was marked down to $15 on Black Friday.
Did you get one?
Yeah. I like the droids. I mean, I have a Dio. I don't like Rise of Skywalker. I have a Dio. I have a BB-8. I have R2 and C-3PO. So yeah, I got a soft spot for the droids. And for $15, I can't turn that down.
Did you actually go to Walmart and get it, or do you have to order it online?
I ordered it online, but then somehow I got to the version of Walmart where you just have to pull up and they bring it to your car.
Oh,
So I
okay.
didn't even have to go in. I don't know how I did that, but
Wow.
my
Sorry, it's hot in my room. I had to turn my fan on.
my
Ooh,
pre-order for the N1 Starfighter on Amazon finally came in from Micro Galaxy
yay.
Squadron. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The only complaint I had is that the Mandalorian has his cape and jetpack, and I couldn't find a hidden compartment to put that in. So right now I just have it kind of stuffed in the cockpit, but I thought that was kind of awkward.
Yeah, I think they do the same thing with Vader and Moff Gideon. There's no real place to hide their capes,
Yeah.
but you need to take them off to put them in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw some of those at Ross, but I didn't see anything cool. I just saw some of the hats.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're making their way to the discount stores.
Oh my dude, I don't know how to say this without being disappointed, but there are people finding like cases of chases in Ross's right now.
Really?
They'll
I haven't
post.
seen that.
Well,
Oh,
maybe not. Huh?
you're talking about the Moff Gideon ship.
I'm talking Moff Gideon. Somebody
Yeah.
found some of the Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Some Lewis posted that he found General
General
Grievous in a
Grievous.
Kroger.
Yeah. That's
So
one of the newer ones.
But it's just the fact that it was in a Kroger.
Yeah.
He could have said that he found a TIE fighter in a Kroger. I'd be like, they're in Kroger now? But Kroger kind of does. I think they do a Christmas section every year.
Yeah, they do. And I did go to Ross this week because I was looking for the chases, and I did find a couple Black Series figures at Ross, but I didn't pick those up. And
Because
they
you
did.
didn't need them for your cantina?
Well, the Han Solo, the old man Han, I thought about picking up and turning it into one of the aliens, taking the vest off of it, but ultimately I decided not to. I did go to Target to try to find when I was picking my wife up from the airport. I had to kill like 15 minutes, so I stopped at that Atlantic Station Target, and they did have the retro chopper.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the chopper anywhere, and up until, well, it's available for pre-order right now in Hasbro Pulse, but it wasn't available for pre-order prior to me picking up my wife. So I just picked up that retro chopper because it was in good condition. And again, I like the droids.
Well, that's a cool chopper because it is just like the old school R2D2. The one from TVC, I was really surprised with. It came with a few. It came with his antenna that would that popped up. So his little radar dish, you could put it on there to make it look like it. You had the standard one, and then you had the one that popped up to make it look like he was trying to send a signal. And then it came with that little bomb thing that he had in the Phantom 2 from Ahsoka. So it came with a couple of cool accessories. The head tilts, so you know left and right versus it does make a complete circle, but then it does do that.
He does
thing,
the Night of the Roxbury Shake. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Oh, dude, I watched Step Brothers for like the first time in like 10 years the other day.
Oh, I was gonna say for the first time.
First time I watched it, it was one of those where there's just a lot of stuff going on and you just can't concentrate on the show. And then it just kind of puts everything that happens around that's happening in real life puts such a sharp, a bitter taste in your mouth towards the movie, even though it's not the movie's fault.
Mm-hmm.
So we were, I think it's on Paramount. No, not Paramount, Peacock right now. So we watched it. My wife was like, I haven't seen it. So Catalina wine mixer. Effing Catalina wine mixer.
Wanted to be a dinosaur.
You see, I lost it. I can't be one anymore.
Can't be one. I also from Hasbro Pulse got the Galaxy of Heroes Revan and HK Droid Killer 2-pack that came. Hasbro Pulse also was running a sale. This hasn't arrived yet, but they did have the what is it, the 212th division of clones. It's the phase 3 clone troopers with the orange on them. That was for 35% off. And then they also had the Sala adventure series. So I did pick that up finally for 35% off, which was cheaper than anything that Amazon was offering. So finally have that, and I can put a bartender in the bar and the cantina. So to answer your question, yes, I did pick up something for the cantina. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go.
No. I'm just.
Everyone
I tried
cut
looking
each
on
other
Amazon.
off.
Yes, we've been doing it for 3 years. You'd think we'd get it right by now. Jesus, it's been 3 years, dude. What the hell are we thinking?
I don't know.
No, I tried it. I didn't find anything on Amazon. I don't have a Hasbro Pulse membership, so I didn't really even look on Hasbro Pulse.
I did notice on the Hasbro Pulse site that the selfie series has disappeared.
Yeah, I was never able to get a good picture of myself for the selfie series, so I never did it.
I wanted one, and I did get a good photo at one point, but I was like, oh, $60. I'll wait. And then I waited too long because it just quietly poof, disappeared. No fanfare, no one saying anything online. It's just suddenly gone.
Right. And when I tried to do it, it was weird because you had to put your own beard. It's not like they would look at you and say, oh, you have a beard, so let me give you a beard. No, they gave you like a bald head. And then you had to put all your accessories on, which never really made it look right. And then you try to throw glasses on, or you couldn't put glasses on it because it was too small of a figure or whatever. They had no way of doing it. So it would have never looked like us, I don't think.
Yeah.
But for $60, that's just a lot of money.
It's cheaper than some of the alternatives, though. So, like having someone scan your head and custom making the figure, at least it'd be articulated. When they did it, Disney World, I guess it's probably more like a decade or 15 years ago. It was just a statuette.
You're right. Those were about $100, and they looked. I've seen a couple of them, and
rough.
It was early 3D printing, and they looked bad.
Yeah.
I think if they would have done something other than the Mando for a Mandalorian, done like a generic Mandalorian, or even if they would have done like, is it not Axe Wolves? Axe Wolves is Dave Filoni's character, but
he's Wolf.
Well, Wolf, there you go. If they would have done like
That's
Wolf,
funny.
I think I would have done it, but I didn't want a quote unquote Mandalorian. I didn't want Boba Fett. I wanted something different. I wanted to be my own Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And the bodies felt very generic. But like with an X-Wing fighter, they did a Stormtrooper too, right? So you had the X-Wing fighter, Stormtrooper, Mandalorian.
Yeah, and was it one of Leia's bodies?
Probably.
I think they did that. Yeah, I also fixed my 3D printer this week. I got tired of borrowing Harrison's time, and I decided to figure out what was going on with my printer, and not only did I figure out what was going on, I did upgrade it, and it's got a bigger nozzle now, so it prints faster. The only kind of the only trade-off, I guess, with the bigger nozzle is that you kind of lose some of the details, so I have to go back and forth between the larger nozzle and the smaller nozzle if I want to preserve detail. But yeah, it's printing a 4-foot Star Destroyer right now. So I can put like a micro machine next to it, and it's relatively close to scale. I think the TIE Fighter micro machine will be a little too big for the Star Destroyer. I think it needs to be about half the size, but it's better than nothing.
Right. Oh, hey, I also got a Christmas card in the mail the other day.
You got that already. People were like messaging me. They're like, you're not the first. I already received someone else's. I'm like, guys, it's not about being the first. It's about getting it over with.
Right. Well, when we opened it, I was kind of like, oh man, they just sent a generic card. And then I opened it up and there it is.
Yes, it's not a generic card.
No, I was kind of upset. I was like, oh man, they mailed it in this year. And then you open it up and there's the whole family photo with the names and everything, or the song titles and stuff. So it was kind of funny. Mandy thought you should have put like a QR code on it so you can have like some fake Christmas music.
There is a QR code on it.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a Spotify code.
Oh shit! I guess I gotta go look at it.
It opens up to a Spotify playlist that the family has curated. It's got no original music.
Oh man, there's one. Oh, I have to tell her when we get off the
It's
show.
in the bottom corner. Yeah, we added that was my daughter's idea. I would just put a little QR code, you scan it in the Spotify app, and it brings up a curated, eclectic Christmas playlist. It's a little bit different than what you would get on the radio. So.
Oh my god, I wish I had your talent or just the drive to do half the crap you guys do.
Yeah. And then the other thing I realized this week, I was so sometimes when they make products for toys, they don't have the final product available for box art. So I went back and I checked the box for the Action Fleet TIE Interceptor.
Uh-huh.
And it matches closer to the hard copy that I have than the actual production. It's the same mold as my hard copy. So I have to figure out a way to try to see if this is the actual item used for the box art. Obviously it's, almost 30 years, 25 years, something like that, since this item was used for possibly photos. So I have to figure out a way to match this with the box art to see if this is indeed the actual item used for photography on the box art.
That would be pretty freaking awesome.
But it's the same mold as the box art. It's definitely that, and it's definitely not the product itself, because the product has different wings, and like I said, the wings match my hard copy.
It's always fun when that happens.
Yep, and I started Googling like Galoob photographers, because obviously with the Kenner stuff, I mean, we have Kim Simmons, and we know exactly who to reach out to if we wanted a print. He saves all that stuff. But just doing a simple Google search, it seems like there's several people who worked on taking photography and product layout, and so it's like I have to figure out who to reach out to. Do I reach out to all of them? It's going to be a process.
Right. I mean, I guess you could reach out to all of them and then they'd be like, who's this weird guy?
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're used to it too.
Maybe not, because people just, like I always say, don't seem to care about the line. So it's going to be a weird thing. Katie Sackhoff was talking to people this week.
The magazine people?
Magazine The Direct, telling that she's not taking the lead role in The Mandalorian. She said, no, I think there's always going to be a lot of speculation in this fandom. I think it's one of the reasons why people love this fandom so much. They love this universe so much that a lot of the times there's just enough ambiguity for people to interpret things the way they want to interpret them. And out of that, there's this ability to have a ton of misinformation get out, or just, wishful thinking. So she's suggesting that it's wishful thinking that she's taking over the title role of the Mandalorian.
But then Pedro wants to go join, or the rumor has it that he wants to go in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, but all he has to do is show up at a recording booth for half a day, and he's got the whole season done.
Yeah, you're right.
And then also the huge news this week is that according
huge news.
Huge.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That kind of stuck in.
Yeah, according to Variety, in an interview with Dave Filoni, Dave Filoni is now Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm and will be planning the future of Star Wars films and shows. He says, in the past, and a lot of good projects I would be brought into, I would see it after it's already been developed in good ways. He says, in this new role, it's opened up to basically everything that's going on. When we plan the future of what we're doing now, I'm involved in the inception phase. I'm not telling people what to do, but I do feel I'm trying to help them tell the best story that they want to tell. I need to be a help across the galaxy here, just like part of the Jedi Council almost. He started in 2008 by directing the Clone Wars movie, so he's been involved with Lucasfilm storytelling since then. Literally hours of storytelling I have done, Filoni said before pausing to rethink his syntax. See, I even phase it like Yoda.
I'm looking for. I mean, this is something that I think we've been wanting. So let's see what happens, and hopefully it doesn't. Well, no, he's going to have his hand in everything, so it's not like he has to pull a Kathleen Kennedy part, right? He's like one step down from her.
Yeah, I mean, he's now an
equals.
executive at the company, and he's got the ability to make content. He's probably closer to Lucas now in terms of his role at Lucasfilm than he has ever been.
Nice.
I think he's in a good place. I think with some cohesiveness to storytelling, we won't have the the issues that people experience with the sequel trilogy, where it seems to be all over the map. One content creator was making one project while the other one is doing something the complete opposite, and the pacing's off, and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel cohesive, and it doesn't feel like a cohesive story. It's just like a series of left, right, left, right.
And we've got a nerd running it, so
Yeah.
he knows his stuff. Like I said before, man, I would love to be in a room with him and Jon Favreau just nerding out one day. I think it'd be awesome.
Quite literally, he is the heir to the empire. He worked with Lucas. He was the Padawan, and now he's the master, and he's in a cool role. And it does feel like they're setting something up. I read this week that Kathleen Kennedy's contract is up in 2024, so this could be laying the groundwork for what's to come. Maybe the next president will be running the company, the business itself, and Filoni will be running the content creation going forward.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Dude, everything he touches turns to gold. I think everything that he's done has been good. So, bring it on, Dave. Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that same conversation, he was talking about Ahsoka season 2, and that he's begun exploring things about the cliffhangers with Balin's skull. He says obviously there's a story there. We're in a wait and see pattern at this point, but I'm glad the conversation is about Ray and how great he was. I used to have little mini debates with him and say, Ray, you're the villain here, and he'd be like, I don't think so. And I was like, I know you don't think so, but you are. I love that you're playing it like you're not, which is exactly the way Balin thinks. And so I think that's the job of any good actor. When you're the villain, you're trying to not be two-dimensional. You're trying to find some three-dimension to it, try to find motivation, and try to explore why this person is acting out the way they do. What flaws do they have? What trauma did they experience to bring them to this point? And obviously with like Darth Vader, it's love that's the trauma, and the missing people and losing people. That's what motivated him. So Balin's got some sort of dimension to him that we just haven't seen yet, and I'm sure we're going to get that with season 2.
Yeah,
hopefully.
It'll be interesting to see who they recast as him, but yeah. There's too much going on. I hope they definitely do a season 2, and you don't know where they're going to go with it. Are we even going to see Thrawn? If they do a season 2, will we even see Thrawn in it? We probably won't it, but I would be down to see what would happen on Peridia, because I think that's where they're going to focus on it. And be ready. If they do a season 2 and it's all on Peridia, it's going to get weird.
Mm-hmm.
So be ready.
Yeah. And people were exploring the idea online with theories that when they say Anakin was the one to bring balance to the Force, they mean that in the sense that he's going to take over the role of the father and bring balance to the Force there.
If he hasn't already.
That possibly. Yeah, he did bring balance to the Force in Return of the Jedi. There was only, he destroyed the Sith, and the Jedi were brought down to 1, so there was the balance there. I mean, the Jedi were in the thousands, and the Sith were, the dark side of the Force was in the 2s, but then the power of the dark side increased so much that it overwhelmed the Jedi. And so he did bring balance to the Force at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Right. Cool. Yeah, there's so, like Katie Sackhoff, like you said, Katie Sackhoff said, there's so much stuff going on with Star Wars and so much speculation that it always changes, and that's what's great about this fandom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is you're always guessing and thinking.
Rise of the Red Blade, this book that I've been reading, I'm about halfway through, and I'm really enjoying it. It does, like, I thought it would be more about the Inquisitors, but it's more about the rise of an Inquisitor. And like I said, I'm halfway through it, and I haven't even reached Order 66, but there's a lot of empathy for the character, and you understand, like, this character needs to follow the Jedi code, but at the same time, she's got her personal, desires, things that she wants to explore. So if you're looking for a good Star Wars book, one that kind of ties into the prequel trilogy, but doesn't really, you don't need that context, I think this is a good book to read. I highly endorse it, though I'm not done with it. So maybe the ending will suck, and
And you'd be like,
in a couple
"No."
episodes, I'll be like, don't read it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now on Amazon. It's only like $18 for a hardcover, so that's pretty good. And then I'm also I want to know what happened with the High Republic, because it feels like they came out with their trilogy or their 4 books, and then I haven't seen anything in like a year or two for that. So I don't know.
I thought they just like entered a new phase of their storytelling.
Yeah, I think there was like a skip. It feels like there was a skip, some time that skipped, but I don't know 100%. I know there's a lot of other things going on, and I've tried looking online for a timeline for High Republic, and I haven't seen anything. And then I don't know. I was looking at another book. There was an X-Files book coming out that everybody's like pre-order, and it doesn't come out till July. And I'm like, why would I pre-order it now?
Yeah, I like the books, but I want movies. I want it to be cinematic. I want to experience it. It's the sound, it's the visuals, it's the moments, the music. It's getting swept up in all of that. And as much as rich as the storytelling can be with these books, I want the movie. Give me a new movie. I when I read Heir to the Empire or Rise of the Red Blade, like this could be an arc of the Clone Wars. Heir to the Empire could be the sequel that we never got. It's frustrating because I like the cinematic experience of Star Wars.
And I think that's something we've missed. But dude, I think we've said it before. The cinematic universe as a whole right now is in such a weird space with streaming, and that they're putting stuff on streaming 6 months after it releases in theaters, that I think it'll be a while before we see Star Wars back in the theaters. But
yeah.
And I'm kind of curious what's happening with the Rey stuff, but I heard somebody else say they were like, they're trying to get away from Rey and the sequel trilogy, and now all of a sudden they're going to do a movie 10 years after the sequel trilogy that focuses on Rey. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense, but I guess we'll have to see it and see see how good they do it.
I don't think Daisy Ridley or Rey was the problem.
No.
I think it was the storytelling.
No,
I was just saying.
Right. No, it's the fact that you had 2 different people making it, and nobody, it's like when you're in school and you have a project to do, and you have a report to write, and you're going to write it with 3 of your buddies, and they're like, oh, I'm going to write a page, you're going to write a page, and you write a page, and you have no context, of what you're writing.
It was 3 people, because Colin Trevorrow was going to write that last movie, and he was prepping it and getting it ready. It was something of the Dark Side, or Duel of the Fates, I think is what he called his movie, Episode 9, Duel of the Fates. And then at the last moment, they fired him because of his Book of Henry movie bombed. And they brought JJ back, and JJ had like months to finish a Star Wars movie because they were locked into that release date.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a whole lot of things that went wrong with this whole thing. And yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I wish they'd quit doing that. I mean, yeah, we're not going to care if your last movie bombed. It's Star Wars. Just make me a good Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope that's what Filoni is going to be resolving, is that, if you do have 3 different people come on board, the second person needs to follow the story threads set by the first one. So
right.
if Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be a relative of Rey, and maybe like we had learned at the Chattanooga Comic-Con, that possibly Obi-Wan and Satine had a nephew, and maybe the nephew was actually their son, and the son had a daughter named Rey. Like that was a thread that they could have followed, and Rey could have been a Kenobi.
Yeah.
And the threads were there, but then they made this whole quick turn that you're nobody. And then they went back and said, well, you're nobody technically, yes, but you're Palpatine's clone's daughter. Like that's the muck and the mess of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, no, I think it would have been so awesome. I think all the Clone Wars people, if they would have just done that one turn, that she was related to Obi-Wan and Satine, everybody would have lost their shit in a good way over it. And that one that one change, I think, would have saved the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And
FX.
Huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's crazy how just one turn can make everything.
Yeah.
But finish your thought, man. Finish your thought.
FX was playing Thanksgiving marathon of all the Star Wars stuff. All 9 movies. Was it? No, 11 movies, because Solo and Rogue One were part of the marathon. And I did watch Solo and Rogue One. I love that. I did watch Empire and Return of the Jedi, and it did remind me a lot of watching that on Sci-Fi as a teenager during Thanksgiving weekend. They would play the Star Wars original trilogy, as a marathon, and it was good to see it on TV. And I don't know, there's something about watching it on TV and not having to turn it on versus turning it on Disney Plus. It's just weird that I'd be more inclined to watch it on TV than I would be to turn it up on Disney Plus. It's kind of weird and funny like that.
Well, I think it's the fact that it's there. It's old school, man, because you're flipping channels and you're trying to find something to watch, and there's Star Wars, and then you're like, oh man, it's on all day. So you can just leave it on that channel all day, and you don't have to, you don't have to sit there. You can just go do something and come back, and you'll know exactly what happened. But I had a friend that messaged me. That's supposed to be why she messaged me saying, I don't want to watch Solo. And I'm like, Solo's actually a good movie.
It is. It gets a lot of crap, but it's a good movie.
And there again, it's the fact that they tried to shove so much stuff down our throats that it was just too much in too little time.
The one movie I want a sequel to from the Disney era. Hopefully Lando, the Lando series, will pick up some of those story threads, and maybe we'll see Kira and Darth Maul do some bad stuff or something. I don't know.
That's the only time that I've been kind of like, man, something you want to, you're like, oh, Darth Maul's cool again. And it never happened. Nothing ever came of it.
Darth Maul was always cool, sir. You're like, oh crap. I stepped in it.
I sure did. No, I guess, yeah. He was cool. My son, and what people don't realize is, like, our kids, my son's almost 30. That's his Darth Vader. Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So that's his guy. I mean, he's got a freaking Darth Maul tattoo. He's got a badass Darth Maul tattoo. And he's, you're just like, that's your guy. And then, yeah, it was sad that they ended it the way they did with him, but now I guess they're good. Now they fixed it with Clone Wars. And then since we're on a Darth Maul trend and we don't have anywhere to go, I'll just when I saw the final Darth Maul Obi-Wan Kenobi battle in Rebels, I always thought it was really short the first time I saw it, because I wanted an epic battle.
Yeah.
But then you listen to, like, Sam Witwer. Was it Sam Wit? Is it
Maybe Sam? He does the voice in the Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, so he's the one that did the voice, or it was either him or the guy that did Obi-Wan. And he was talking about it, and he was like, if you watch it, Obi-Wan does all 3 stances. So then he's like, he does Qui-Gon Jinn stance, and then he does the original Obi-Wan, like he does the old man Obi-Wan, he does the Qui-Gon, and then he does the Clone Wars Obi-Wan stance, like back to back to back, to really mess with Darth Maul's head. And then when you look at it that way, you're like, oh,
you're talking about the episode Twin Sons from Star Wars Rebels.
Yes.
Yeah. And
that battle.
So Obi-Wan, and I interpreted it as, so when Obi-Wan meets Darth Maul for the first time in a long time, his instinct was to move into that Clone Wars mode, and that's why he's got the 2 fingers out and the lightsaber over his head. And because of what happened between Kenobi, the TV show, and that moment in Rebels, he was able to kind of reassess himself and be like, no, we are different with the Force now. We are not here to be the Jedi warriors. This is not a fight. This is a mercy kill, almost. Like, we're going to end his pain. I'm going to do what I have to do, and I'm not going to fight this out and try to convince him otherwise. And that's when he turns into that the version of Kenobi we see in the A New Hope. Right. That's my interpretation. Sam Witwer could suck it. What does he know?
Oh, he just played Darth Maul.
He just plays Darth Maul and works with Filoni.
Right. No big deal. It didn't.
No big deal.
It's really cool because it does feel like I would just want to be on set with any of those people because even Freddie Prinze Jr., for as crazy as he sounds nowadays, he knows his Star Wars. And Sam knows his Star Wars. And Freddie Prinze is actually, no, was it Sam? One of the two of them like caught Dave Filoni on some stuff.
Yeah.
And, Dave Filoni, they had a talk and he was like, dude, it was something about him meeting Padme meeting Anakin's mom or something. And they're like, they met in, the prequels. And they were like, what do you mean? And then they, oh crap, you're right. So yeah, just being on set with some of those guys would be amazing because they all know Star Wars.
I don't know what
You
else.
got nothing to say.
I got nothing else.
You got nothing else. Yeah.
We don't have to go an hour.
No, we don't have to go. That's what she said. Excuse me. No. So what time is it now? It is
12:45. 10:45.
45 minutes. Yeah, so next week we've got the Powder Springs show on Saturday, the swap meet on Saturday. Then we're preparing. I've got to clean my house is clean, but you're freaking out because we got the winter social that me and my wife's hosting. So we're just kind of like freaking, you're just like walking over your house going, I need to do this, do that, and clean. And she's been busting butt on all the trophies and stuff, which is amazing. And I'm like, baby, you gotta post more pictures of these things to get people interested in it. And she's just like, no, I want to keep them secret. I'm like, come on, baby. But she's been doing an awesome job. And you helped out, made some bases, and she just like the ugly sweater. She took that thing over the top.
Yeah. That's the one to win.
Yeah, that's the one to win because she's like really really spent a lot of time on that one. And then on next Sunday is the Conyers toy show that our buddy Dutch puts on. So next weekend is going to be a very busy Star Wars weekend for me. I'm going to be worn out come Monday.
Do you have a dusting routine or do you just do it when you need to dust?
I just do it when I feel the need, when I notice that, oh man, it's dusty.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's the same. But the motivator is like when people come over, it's like, oh, I better spot dust and get some spots done. And then the thing I get frustrated is when I spot dust and I see like there's a right next to it, I didn't dust an area, and it's like I got to go back and dust that area because I just try to do a quick clean. But now that I've cleaned this section, you can tell that this part's not clean.
Yeah.
Dust is the worst. It
really is. Thankfully, I do have a lot of closed. I got a few closed cases to like the high end stuff is in a closed case. But the worst part is like the Lego. I need to go through my Lego and see how bad those are. But I don't know. I'm trying not to overthink it because when you overthink it, it's like people don't notice,
Yeah.
Because like my mother-in-law was out and we've got a bunch of leaves on our back deck and she's like, you need to clean all these leaves off. And I'm like, yeah, I'll clean all those leaves. But it's like nobody would notice it. Huh?
I got your leaves right here.
Yeah. So I got to go sweep. I'll probably handle that in the middle of the week. I don't know. It's stressful, but it's fun. It's fun having people over to look.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy Podcast. If you could please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us out, points people to our show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback. We love to make you part of the show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. I'd like to say thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo and to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People collect for the love of it. #vote with your wallet. Sabine will be on next week. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collected community. This is the way.
This is the way.